what's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about 5 players the Cowboys cannot afford to lose in 2020. This is serious? Cap, move, boom, let's go. All right, guys, so as the title says, we're going to talk about 5 players the Cowboys cannot afford to lose for the 2020 season. All right, these are players that I have looked at the roster, what's behind them, and the ability for the Cowboys to sustain some injuries, and these players are areas where I feel that we have the weakest or least experience, so could hurt us. Okay, let's hope that we don't move any of these. It could cripple any of these players. Could really cripple the team in some form or fashion, whether it's on offense or defense. But without further ado, let's get right into this list. All right, first player on this list is going to be Cheeto Awuzie. All right, he's my number 5 player on this list. Why do I have Cheeto on here? Because, you know, on the other side of him, it's an open competition. We know that Byron Jones just left in free agency to the Dolphins. So that spot we know is wide open. We did draft Trayvon Diggs early, you know, a 2nd round pick, and he'll get, you know, he'll have his competition. But, you know, outside of that, looking on the other side of the cornerback position, it's going to be Cheeto Awuzie. He's your incumbent. You know, we broke down the cornerbacks. If you missed that video, click the link up here. I have it there for the camp battles for the defensive backs. But I have Cheeto Awuzie. The whole talk of him moving to safety, that's just off-season boredness. Not, you know, people not really thinking this thing out. You got to have Cheeto at cornerback. That's his position. That's where that's his speciality. Okay, it's a contract year for him. It serves him zero purpose to move over to safety. The money is at cornerback. All right, so he's going to ball out. Now, if you were to sustain an injury, let's knock on wood. Okay. Now, if you were to sustain an injury there to Cheeto Awuzie, who do you have behind him? You know. You have a couple of players on the roster. You know, you might have to move people around, but you're gonna lose that experience there. You know, you do have players in the mix. You know, you have a Daryl Worley, you have a Kennedy, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, and these kinds of guys. But then you start having to move people around, and it puts you in a bind, and you don't have your best cornerback out there. For me right now, Cheeto Awuzie is your best cornerback right now, 2020. Okay. Trayvon Diggs definitely has that opportunity to move up, and I think he will start opposite of Cheeto at some point, maybe right out the gate, but he'll be right there. Okay, you can't leave that good of a talent off the field. So Cheeto Awuzie, my number 5 player, you can't afford to lose this season. Okay, it'll hurt the secondary. My 4th player on this list, Amari Cooper, one of the 3 Ferraris that we have. You know, if you sustain an injury to Amari Cooper, yes, you do have CeeDee Lamb. You can move him over there. And then you have, obviously, Michael Gallup on the other side. But then who takes over that slot position, you know, or who moves in there? We're assuming that CeeDee Lamb can move out there. And obviously he did. You know, that's what he did at Oklahoma. They moved him all over the place. Okay, so we know that he's kind of like an interchangeable part. You know, I think we'll see different packages on the field where you have Cooper inside, Lamb on the outside, Gallup can move around. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch this offense. I can't wait. But if you lose Amari Cooper, you lose that rapport that Dak Prescott has with that weapon. You know, we've seen what Amari Cooper does to these secondary. He's out here literally breaking ankles. You remember that game versus the Eagles? You saw that clip there here recently of him all over DeAndre Baker, the Giants cornerback. You know, he really was scared that rookie out of his stance, you know. That boy said, I said, what you scared of? So the corners don't want to cover this guy. He's one of the more crisp route runners, has the best feet, is beautiful to watch him, and our young wide receivers are learning a ton from him. But if you lose him, you know, then you start playing the game of who goes into the slot. Okay, and this is something that we're going to discuss further at wide receiver. You lose Amari Cooper, you know, does Dak have a difficulty moving the ball? Yes, we obviously fully believe that CeeDee Lamb is going to be something for this team. But his rookie season, he would have to have some sort of amazing rookie campaign, kind of like an Odell Beckham or a Mike Evans. You know, those two guys are the most recent rookies that came into the league and really took the top off. Okay, CeeDee Lamb could do that, but that's a question mark. All right, you don't want to lose Amari Cooper. That could cripple this offense. You know, we don't want to become one-dimensional and that kind of thing. So can't have him. Can't lose him. Okay. Next one on my list, number 3 on who you can't lose during the season, Tyrone Smith. Okay, Tyrone Smith is on this list very high because I feel the depth. They just swapped out players. You know, there's going to be competition there. You're going to have Brandon Knight. Obviously, they brought over Cam Irving, former first-round bust. So, you know, they're going to try to salvage that career, see if they can get something out of him like they did Jonathan Cooper, but at tackle. So, we'll see there. But we've seen how this team struggles when Tyrone Smith is out. For all the flack and some people that want to trade him and move on from him, you know, for me, I'm not a part of that faction. I don't want to move on from Tyrone Smith, but I do want to start getting ready for the future, okay? And that's one of Mike McCarthy's specialities. He's good at getting players in place to take over. He always has another bullet in the chamber ready to go. You know, whether it's wide receiver, somebody's going to go into free agency, he has another wide receiver ready to go. I think you're going to see that in the next draft with the Cowboys. I think you will see another offensive lineman drafted here early, unless the plan is to move Connor Williams to left tackle. You know, the whole issue there is with the arms shorter, but he is very athletic. That left side of that offensive line is the most athletic part of the Cowboys offensive line. Tyrone Smith, Connor Williams. Your right side is your power, your brawlers. Lyle Collins, Zach Martin. Your center, Tyler Biadasz. He's going to be in that mix there, you know. Obviously, there's going to be competition there, but you don't move back into the 4th to draft Tyler Biadasz to sit on the bench. So we'll see there, but that's why you can't lose Tyrone Smith. All right, you lose him, and there will be a lot more pressure on Dak Prescott. And if you have Connor McGovern there, which basically will be his rookie season, rookie campaign, you know, it's going to cause some issues there as well. I want to see Tyrone Smith there, obviously. Connor McGovern hopefully wins that spot. And you want a veteran next to him. So Tyrone Smith, you can't lose him. If you do, you're in trouble there on the offense. You're going to run into some issues, okay? So speed rushers, bull rushers, I don't think we have the power. The backups, I don't feel good about them. I think you can get away with some stuff in a pinch, maybe for a game or a few quarters. If he has to take a couple of plays off, we've seen Tyrone Smith battle through injuries. One of the toughest players on the team, obviously, but you can't lose him. Number 2 on my list, Zach Martin, another offensive lineman. Okay. Now you could make the argument that no, we can't lose none of these guys, but let me tell you why you can't lose Zach Martin. Okay, he's very durable. We've seen what he does in this league. He brings a physicality, and like I just said, that right side of that offensive line is where the power is at, where the brawling is at. It's the dominant side of that offensive line. He's a captain. He's been a captain 2 times now. All pro. You lose him, I think you lose a little bit of that bite, you know, because you can't just replace a Zach Martin. Okay, who would you put in there? You have to start shuffling people around. Is the loser of the Connor Williams, Connor McGovern, that swing guard, and are they clearly neither would be at that level. Could you get by with those guys? I think you could, but like I say, you lose that bite. You're gonna lose that physical player because Connor Williams, finesse. Okay, he's finesse. Connor McGovern, I feel like he's a little bit more of that brawler type. That's why I like him at the left guard position. I want to solidify that. Okay. It's taken a couple seasons to see what we can get out of Connor Williams, and it's do or die now. So, can't lose Zach Martin. If you lose him, running game will suffer. Blocking. Zach Martin's the most complete offensive guard there is. Pass blocking, run blocking. You know, if you need to do a pull, if you need to do anything, he's athletic too. I mean, he's just a complete package. He's the best that there is in the league. Notre Dame just keeps chugging out these dominant offensive guards, but he's right there. You know, if you want to go 1A, 1B, both the Notre Dame guards, you know who we're talking about, the Colts, the guard over there, Mauler, okay, but Zach Martin's still the goats, but you can't lose him, okay. And my number one player that you can't afford to lose for the 2020 season is DeMarcus Lawrence, okay. Right now, as the roster sits right now, DeMarcus Lawrence is still, he's your war daddy, no doubt about it. You know what you have in him. You know what he's about. Everything else is a question mark. We're still waiting on the Randy Gregory reinstatement, shrouded in mystery. We always say it's shrouded in mystery because nobody knows. You know, I've given my theory, but nobody really knows what's taking so dang long, okay? Alden Smith, you know, we're trying to look at the positives, the low tread, back on track. But how will he look? You know, will there be some ring rust there? I'm sure there will be. So it's a lofty expectations to this defensive line, and if you lose DeMarcus Lawrence, you have bigger questions. I think if you were to lose him, Cowboys would have to make some sort of they would really have to look into making another acquisition during the season. Okay, we're knocking on wood again. So DeMarcus Lawrence, you lose him, the defense takes a big hit, you know, because then you're leaning on the question marks, okay, and I think this is where the Cowboys are going to continue to load up on that defensive line. You're starting to see it already. The rebuild, they're rebuilding this defensive line. Okay, they got Gallimore in here. He's a good little piece to start with. They added Bradley Anae, 5th round still. They're going to see what they can get out of him as a DPR, designated pass rusher. And maybe he can become more than that. Okay, so little by little, you're starting to see this thing transform. Let's see what they get out of Tristan Hill. Hopefully, they can get something out of him. You don't want to whiff on that 2nd round pick. Let's hope that Tom Sula can get something out of him. But as it sits right now, you lose DeMarcus Lawrence. This defense takes a big hit. Okay, he's a captain as well, leader, one of the leaders on that defensive line. Brings swagger, brings the lunch pail to every game. I would argue that he's, you know, one of the top 3, maybe number 1 defensive ends that plays the run really well. Not a lot of defensive ends do not play the run well. You know, they're strictly, you know, the sack specialist, that sort of thing. The thing that really pops off about DeMarcus Lawrence is the ability to play the run, bust plays in the backfield, and get to the quarterback, strip the ball, sack the player, get him out the pocket. He does everything, you know. He gets a little bit too much of the flack. I'd say some of our defensive players get a little bit too much flack. You know, some people just don't see some of the nuances and the little things that these players bring to the table. So DeMarcus Lawrence, you can't lose him. Guys, let me know who your top 5 players are that you can't do without. Now, where's Zeke? Where's Dak? Okay, why they're not on this list is because I think that obviously if you were to lose Dak, and these might be more of honorable mentions, okay, but let's say Dak Prescott. If you lose him, at least you have Andy Dalton, who has led teams to winning seasons. Okay, Marvin. Okay, obviously not that good, but you're talking about McCarthy here. He elevates quarterbacks, elevates the quarterback play. He has a better coordinator here with Kellen Moore and McCarthy. So I would feel at least a little bit, I would feel okay with having some sort of possibility of having success here with Dalton there. Obviously, it won't be anything near Dak Prescott. He doesn't have the ability to tuck and run with the ball like Dak Prescott. He's not going to do the quarterback sneaks, the naked bootlegs, those sorts of things. The RPOs, I don't know if you can sell it as good with Andy Dalton. They'll have to probably change it up a lot, but you can still win with him. Ezekiel Elliott, right? Another honorable mention. If you lose Ezekiel Elliott, at least I think you have something good to work with Tony Pollard, and then you would probably have to elevate another running back off practice squad, or maybe somebody that you kept on the 55-man roster. So Ezekiel Elliott, obviously that would be a big hit as well, but you do have a little bit of something to take that hit to some sort of degree, okay, with a Tony Pollard. But let me know, guys. Let me know in the comments who your top 5 are, who you can't lose, who you cannot lose for the 2020 season. Let me know, guys. I appreciate everybody checking out the videos in the off season. We're getting through this dead zone really well. Can't do it without you guys. Thanks to all of my members. that continue to pitch in and help for the upgrades of the channels. You know, that it helps out a whole bunch, and I do appreciate every one of you. And new subscribers, thank you. Any lurkers, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification to be part of the notification hit squad, baby. All right. But that's all I have right now, guys. I'll catch you guys for the next video. Peace.